have been in dentistry building a lot of innovations in reactive care, how to treat teeth better, how to do better implants, how to do better bone grafts, better aesthetics. But there hasn't been a lot of innovation in the prevention space. So the heart and soul of Oral Genome is to be able to provide that prevention, that personalized prevention to them, that better at-home regimen and that care for them. And that's why I built Oral Genome.
Welcome to the 17th episode of the Story Project podcast. I am your host, Joanna Scott, and I'm so excited for this conversation with my new friend, Dr. Tina Saw. Before I welcome my guest, I want to tell you a little bit about her. Dr. Tina Saw is a general dentist and entrepreneur with more than 15 years in the dental industry. She is the founder and CEO of Oral Genome, a point-of-care dental saliva testing company that is transforming dental prevention and early disease detection for providers and their patients. Previously, she grew her dental practice, Elevated Smiles, into the #1 dental practice in San Diego County. Wow. And then went on to found Light Solutions Company, a B2B dental company in loupes and lights. She holds a DDS from Loma University School of Dentistry and a BA in biology from Case Western Reserve University. That sounds like a lot of school to me, where she received the Young Alumni Award for excellence in her professional field under the age of 35 this year. Dr. Saw is a recognized expert and influencer in the dental industry and has been seen on Fox News, Yahoo, Shape Magazine, and CBS. Welcome, Tina.
Thanks, Joanna. It's so great to be here today.
Oh, well, thank you for traveling all the way from Carlsbad, California to Columbus, Ohio.
Thanks. I love the Midwestern charm here.
That's awesome. Our team has had so much fun already, just like having you here we finished about half of your day, your session with us. And I always love to start about how we first met. And you and I connected and first met at the Do Retreat last year. And so for those of you who are not familiar, which if you know me and most of my friends, the Do Retreat is the dental entrepreneur women's retreat led by the fearless Ann Duffy. And so last year there were like over 130 other women there. And we talked, some throughout the event, and it's like roundtable style. So you go around, you get to know a lot of people. Did you love the retreat?
It was my first time going to the retreat, and I absolutely loved it because I didn't realize how many women I would ever connect with and totally understand me. And I just really bonded with them. And there's so many women just from that recent retreat that have become one of my closest friends.
That's so awesome. And I feel like it's such an amazing group and tribe community that really champion one another. There's I would say next to no competition, and they really just are cheering you on, with whatever project or whatever's on your heart.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I feel the same way because when I think it was Anne who said that there's always an answer in the room. And I've been able to do that with all the things I've done, in any challenge or anything. There was always an answer with another dude who was willing to help out.
Yeah, that's so amazing. Well, before we jump into your story, I really wanted to I usually start with some icebreaker questions. Yeah. We had something kind of funny happen this morning. Okay.
We're going to talk about this.
We're going to talk about this just for a second. Yeah. And if we don't like it, I can just have the guys edit it out. No, we don't care. So, listen, this is the Story Project podcast. I can talk about whatever stories I want to, really. Yeah. Because I'm the boss of this podcast. Yeah. Okay, so one reason I love Tina so much is we had dinner last night, and I don't know, she's just real and authentic. If you've met her and know her, you know that is very true about her. But this morning, when I was picking her up, I always, I really love to pick up our clients that come to see us and just help them, put all their clothing and suitcases in my car and everything. And okay, we just had this coincidence, kind of crazy thing happen. So all my ladies out there, you know how your monthly cycles they're not always timed well. And they don't always just every 27 or 30 days. What the hell?
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes they come weeks early, yes. Unprepared. And so when I picked you up, I was like, I need to run to the restroom.
Yeah. And I was like, yeah, sure, you can run the restroom. And your studio's not that far away. I was like, sure. And then you were like, yeah, it's just, what did you say to me?
I think I had a tampon and a pad in my pocket.
Yeah.
And I was going to try to hide it from you.
Yeah.
But then
I walked out. Yeah.
I said, I'm going to just run and use the restroom in the lobby. My cycle started early.
And then I was like, oh my gosh, are you serious? Like, me too. Like, I was like, of all days, I've been so excited for the Studio 88. Like this, I've been like, we've been planning this for months and months. And I was planning my trip. I was so excited to go Columbus. And I woke up this morning and I was like, oh my gosh, are you serious? It's like 2 weeks early. Like, this is not what I had planned for.
Totally.
And we totally know, because as women, like, that's an extra thing that we have to like deal with. I feel like men don't have to deal with. And I'm like, I have to be on top of it, have all this energy. And I was like, oh, we're both on our cycles early.
We synced up tonight.
We synced up because
just
of dinner.
One dinner.
Because we had such a great dinner.
Great synergy.
Like, totally like on it. We're like, yeah. So that's our funny story for today. And like, I will never ever forget it.
Yes, me either. Oh my gosh. Okay. You're such a sweetheart for letting me share that. That was as real as we get. I'm looking over here towards one of our amazing videographers, Drew, who's just dying in the corner. He's such a gentleman, but he's just bearing through this conversation. We're going to have to edit a clip of your face in. I wish I could turn the camera on him. Okay, so tell me, I'm just, why do you love Disney? I found out a couple of fun facts about you. You love all things Disney. Mm-hmm. Where did this come from? How did this begin?
Oh, gosh. Dental school, I know a lot of dentists, like, we find we have been, it's stressful. Like we're getting ready for our boards, our clinical exams, and then we have our practical exams and our written exams. And I remember, like, I went to Loma Linda University. It's not far from Disneyland, probably about an hour. And I said, if I pass my boards, I'm going to go to Disneyland. And I did that. And I hadn't gone to Disneyland in such a long time. I think the last time I went was I was like 5 or 6 years old.
Yeah.
And, they say Disneyland's the happiest place on earth. It truly is. Yeah. And from there, like, I ended up buying a pass. And, like, anytime I had a hard day at school or a good day, I would, like, go to Disneyland. I'd just walk downtown, like, walk on the main street and eat. And I'd go with my friends. It's always been such pleasant memories for me. And when I had children, I wanted to bring Disney with me. And our house is decorated Disney. We have Disney furniture. We have every Ethan Allen Disney line. And I collect a little Disney memorabilia for them. Okay. And so it's just a very special place in my heart. Yeah.
Yeah. That's so fun. I love that. I also heard that you were on a baking series, a Netflix show called Nailed It.
Yeah.
And so I was trying to look into the show. So it was basically amateur bakers that had to design and create really high-end, like, custom cakes, right?
Okay. Yes, exactly.
How long were you on that?
So it was a 3-day filming process. Okay. I mean, it's all condensed in about a 45-minute show. Yeah. It's a great experience, but they give you these, like, outrageous type of cakes that you have to make, or outrageous cookies. But you get the opportunity to, like, laugh at yourself and make these, like think on the spot. Yeah. And really, like, just like, I remember I had to make this giant animal cookie. And when it came out and they, like, showed the demo of the cookie, I was like, is that even real? But I did it. I made it, That's awesome. Same thing with Nicole Byer's dog cake. How to make that too. We had to make it. I think my series is called, like, Positive Dog or something. I don't remember. But you had to make outrageous cakes and cookies in an insanely little amount of time. Yeah. And normally these professional bakers would work on these cakes for like 3 days. We had, like, I think less than 2 hours to make this type of cake. I remember being prepped for the show too, and them teaching me how to, like, airbrush, how to use their mixers, like all these, like, fancy gadgets. Yeah. It was just an incredibly fun out-of-the-box experience for me.
That's so awesome. No pressure involved, I'm sure.
No pressure involved.
That's cool. Okay. Well, I'm super excited to connect with you just as a female dental entrepreneur who has a passion and calling to create solutions that impact oral health disparities in our world. But also, you're changing things in the dental profession on the whole. To give our audience a little context for this conversation, let me just I'll explain what Oral Genome is, and then you can kind of do it in your own words. Yeah. But Oral Genome is an oral wellness testing kit that provides personalized insights about oral health It measures the microbiome and biomarkers that influence cavities and gum disease risks. And earlier, I heard you during your video interview saying that the product really decodes the mouth.
Yeah.
And so tell us the heart and soul behind Oral Genome and where the idea came from, your passion behind creating this.
Yeah. So the heart and soul behind Oral Genome is just from observations I made in dentistry. I've been a dentist for almost 10 years. I've been in dentistry for 16 years. I started out as a dental assistant. And I think a lot of dentists and hygienists, they go into the profession because they're in it to truly help people. And I was, when I was practicing, I was always seeing I'm filling these holes. I'm always delivering bad news. I'm always saying, oh, you got 3 cavities, or you need a crown. It's going to cost this much. And a lot of people are also associating dentistry with pain because it's hurt when they're going to get the anesthesia or the shot. And then it's going to hurt when they put the crown on. Nobody wants to go through that dental procedure. And as a dentist, and I also noticed with my hygienist too, they were really frustrated with telling their patients oh, use this product, just brush, and then 6 months later they come back I did do what you told me, doctor, but for some reason I have another cavity and stuff like that. So I was we have been in dentistry building a lot of innovations in reactive care, how to treat teeth better, how to do better implants, how to do better bone grafts, better aesthetics, but there hasn't been a lot of innovation in the prevention space. So the heart and soul of Oral Genome is to be able to provide that prevention, that personalized prevention to them, that better at-home regimen and that care for them. And that's why I built Oral Genome.
I've heard you talk about on I've seen Facebook, interviews you've done and just interviews video interviews on your social feed and even in panels at the Do Retreat, just about initial rejection from potential investment partners. What has that journey been like for you, finding the right partners to come alongside Oral Genome? Have you seen positive or challenging responses from the dental community on the whole?
Yeah. So it's a really great question. Because when I started Oral Genome, it was all this idea. And I was so excited to pitch it and tell people about the idea. And I realized not everyone was on board. And then there were some people who were on board. I had some big companies that were we love your idea, we want to do it. And we'd have these conversations and they would go great. And then I would get rejected for a partnership. But then there were some dental investors, which were I love what you're doing. And they would throw an angel capital into it. But it's been overall a really roller coaster journey because I never ever anticipated I would be talking to so many big people and execs in large companies. I just didn't see myself, it's a small town dentist who has this idea, and I actually would get picked up by all these partners. But then I also, along the way, had to figure out who were the right partners. And some of the people I thought were right partners ended up rejecting me, or the people who they did accept me, but I wasn't quite sure if they were the right partners. When I look at a deal, you have to go in with a business mind aspect, and you also have to not only think straight, but you have to also have a thick skin, because investors and partners will tell you how it is. They don't soften it. They will tell you it's a stupid idea, or this is never going to work, or and I've even been told in investor meetings as a woman too, aren't you going to have more children? How do you do this? It's been, and I've had to throw those conversations aside and keep going. And if I hadn't keep going and hadn't kept believing in my ideas, I would not be where I am today. It's I've learned to put those emotions aside, even though I've had those moments where I've been crying on the floor. I've learned to put those emotions aside and take that feedback. And how can I grow my company, and how can I move those pieces forward? Yeah. So I'm really excited. We're partnering with a company, and I'll share a little bit more details. We're hitting some big magazines in the cover story about what we're doing, but it was not an easy journey to get there.
You shared one statistic last night. I wondered if you could share it again. Just about venture capital with funding with women dental entrepreneurs or women entrepreneurs. Yeah.
It's a statistic that is so alarming and most people are not aware of. But only 1.7% last year, 1.7% of venture capital went to women. That's a shocking, crazy low statistic.
Yes, definitely.
And I think as women, sometimes like, I don't know, like, I don't know what it is, but we get lower valuations on our company. We're not maybe like what an investor or like, we just don't have that look, especially as being an Asian woman entrepreneur. I'm in my mid 30s. Like I don't look like that standard like white man who's going to go and do this. Like there's something comfortable.
No, Tina, you do not look like a standard white man.
Yes,
thank God.
But there has been so many rooms that I've sat in where there's a lot of just white older men.
Yes.
And I'm definitely don't look like any of them. And I think also, I don't think they intend to just not choose women, but there is a little bit of a internal bias and it makes it a little challenging. But I'm really proud of how far I've come and I've pitched these ideas, find the right partners to be able to do the things that I'm doing today.
So I have a question. Where does your tenacious spirit and gumption come from? Have you always been this way? Because what you're describing is you're in the minority percent of, like startup companies that, have investment partners at the level that, you've been able to acquire. So where does your tenacious spirit and gumption come from?
My tenacious spirit, I would say, is that I have a fighter spirit because I've watched my parents work really hard and have that themselves. I mean, my dad, he worked 2 minimum wage jobs. My mom was a school lunch lady. I've always seen them work hard and it didn't matter. Like growing up, we've had not only like hard moments of being poor, but also discrimination moments. I mean, and I've seen my parents just move past that and it was just a huge thing. And I'm talking about like, we're talking like in the early 90s, like being like the only Asian family in the neighborhood, that was really tough. Like I was called names. I was called things that like people should not be called at. Like there were things like, I mean, there were just some very gruesome things that had happened in our neighborhood in front of our house because we were Asian. And I'm not even going to talk about it in the podcast because it was that bad. And my parents still pushed through, and I learned to push through and have that tenacity because of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Gosh, it's so moving. Oh, it's incredible. So if there are people who want to, learn more about how to support Oral Genome, how to partner with you and become a part of your tribe, how can people become a part of that community? What does that look like? As far as, if I'm a dental practice owner, I'm interested in having it. If I'm even, just an individual that would like to have a testing kit, is that even accessible?
Yeah. So we have just a landing page right now. You can enter your information. You can tell who you are, your email, and also like if you're a dentist or you're a consumer or if you'd like to invest in our company, there's just a little inquiry and I usually will respond back pretty quickly. Just so that's one way that you can get us to learn more about us. And as I mentioned before, there'll be a little bit more news on what we're doing. And so that's another way you can kind of learn more about Oral Genome in the next couple of weeks and the big things we're doing to impact the dental industry.
Well, I would love to hear, what does the future look like for you, for Dr. Tina Saw and Oral Genome? And tell us what you envision, what feels exciting. I know you have some big announcements that I'm not sure you can share with us right now that are coming. But what can you share with us?
Well, what I can share is we are very, very close to launch. We will be piloting in Southern California first. We have partnered with a large insurance payer, and and this insurance payer is helping Oral Genome, and we're partnering in helping these underserved communities getting better access to care. And these are people who can't necessarily get to the dentist really easily, or they're at home because they have disabilities or they're foster care children. And that was one partnership I'm so excited about, and that I want, I that just speaks to my heart, and actually really a big mission as to why, part of the reason why I built the product. It's not just about decoding your mouth, but providing affordable and personalized care to the people who can't necessarily get it. I don't think dentistry should be just for the wealthy or the people who can afford it. It should be equal and available and accessible to everyone.
I love that, because it's a human thing.
Yeah, it's a human thing.
Yes.
It's a human right to be healthy.
Yes, absolutely. So before we go, I want you to share some words of encouragement for the other dreamers out there.
Yeah.
The other entrepreneurs, the humans that, women and guys, right? We'll include the guys on this too. We love all our awesome gentlemen. Drew. What words of encouragement can you share if they're feeling despair, they're feeling discouraged, or they're hitting barrier after barrier, and they feel like they're not breaking through, but they have that dream, that spark, that thing they know they're supposed to do?
Well, I think for me, it's like always keep going. If you look at all those big companies out there, like Canva, everyone knows Canva. You look at Calendly, there's so many stories out there where there were solo founders or women or just some minority founder or entrepreneur. There is a reason why they got there. And I'm hoping to be one of those people. It's because they were not afraid of those challenges. They were not afraid of the no's. Like, I was reading a statistic, and only 5%, you have to pitch like 99 times to get one yes or something like that. It's like you have to just keep going at it and really believe in what you do. And the other thing is taking that feedback. I always ask investors that say no, what is it? Take that feedback, make your product even better. So I guess my biggest thing is keep going. Like, it doesn't matter what people say. Like, people say what they want. Like, I know there are people who gossip and like, oh, she can't do it, or like, that's a stupid thing. But you just got to keep going because you believe in your vision. The person who glues it together is you.
Yeah.
And you got to keep going because of you.
Yeah. That's so good. I cannot thank you enough for being a guest on the Story Project podcast. I love your heart. I love the mission that you're on, Dr. Saw. I admire you in every way possible. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. And for also trusting Studio 88 to help capture the essence and the story of Oral Genome. It's just an honor to work with you and to be a part of something that's so special and extraordinary.
Yeah. And thank you, Joanna, for helping me share my story and really bringing to the world what we do and bringing that all to light.
You are so welcome. Well, I love this amazing tribe of people in dentistry willing to share their stories. Let's be fearless together this week. We'll see you soon again, Story Project podcast listeners.